Hello, this is your friendly neighborhood anchorman, Anchor Jones, here reporting live on a story that's just been developing in the past several months, the presidential election of our new nation. That's right, George Washington has just been sworn in as the first president of the United States in Federal Hall in New York, New York. The day is April 30th, 1789, and it has been a historical past few months. And now we swing it to our voting correspondent, Joe Mama.
Thank you, Anchor. There was a record number of voters. A whopping 1% of the citizens showed up to vote.
So why exactly is this voter turnout so low for this historical election?
Well, firstly, I don't really thought this election would go any other way, as George Washington was almost guaranteed from the beginning. Also, there's the fact that very few people were able to vote, what with needing to be a white man who owns property. Also, because each state has varied voting laws.
Thank you, Joe. Now we go to our field correspondent, Sandra, for the voting that really mattered in this election, and that is the Electoral College.
Thank you. I am here at Federal Hall in New York, New York, where just 24 days ago the members of our Electoral College convened here to help decide our new nation's future. Congress met to vote on the candidates who have been up for election from February 4th to April 6th, and according to all accounts, it was fairly easy to decide.
Why do you say that? There was a whopping 69 delegates. Certainly in some way it must have been some kind of contest.
Of course, there were votes for other candidates, with John Hancock getting 4, John Jay getting 9, and several of 14 candidates receiving small numbers of votes. But there was really no contest for the presidency. The vice presidency was a little more contested, but in the end the winner received a landslide 34 votes.
Could you, perhaps, tell us who this man is?
Well, actually, we have him here for an interview right now. Meet Vice President John Adams.
Hello, madam. How may I be of service to you?
So do you agree with the way this election played out?
Well, I agree that Washington should be president. However, I was quite perplexed as to why I received only half the votes of him when I was clearly the best man for the vice presidency.
Well, perhaps we may find out as time goes on.
Perhaps.
This is CNN Breaking News.
We've just received reports of Alexander Hamilton. I put investigative correspondent Penn Viper to go interview him.
Alright, I've tracked Hamilton down to this dirt road right over here. I'm gonna see if I can approach him. Mr. Hamilton! Mr. Hamilton, do you have any comments on the Washington election? Mr. Hamilton! Please, don't run away from me, sir! Sir, did you have any hand in the reason why Adams got so few votes?
Okay, so I may have swung some of the electoral votes away from voting for Adams.
But why would you do that, sir?
Well, it was just to make sure that Washington was definitely going to win. I mean, it's not like this will negatively affect my chances in politics. Wait, are you recording this? Stop!
Sadly, this is all our investigative correspondent Penn Viper could get out of Hamilton about the situation with sabotaging Adams. Currently, he's being absolutely swarmed with letters. Thousands of paragraphs beautifully written by Hamilton, just roasting him about how unethical the whole camera situation really was. But enough about that. I have a personal sit down with the first president of the United States of America, George Washington.
Thank you for having this interview with me.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for your gracious hospitality. What would you say that we should expect from the Washington administration after this point?
Well, there's actually a few things I have in mind to do different than what our king of those years back did.
Well, such as what? Tell me more.
Well, I was thinking about having some additional members of my administration to help with certain issues. I might have secretaries to help with those things, like a Secretary of Treasury, maybe a Secretary of War, or a Secretary of State. Maybe I'll even have a district attorney, or an attorney general.
Interesting. Then how would you deal with all the foreign affairs?
Well, right now I believe that our country is too young to be involved in any global conflicts. So until that changes, I hope that our nation stays neutral.
Many people are saying they want you to maintain this office position for life and they feel like you're the perfectly fit candidate. How do you respond to this?
Well, I'd like to respond by saying that I am not a king, and I will someday leave the office. Hopefully that will set an example for others to follow. I walk on untrodden ground, and every choice that I make will have an impact. on this entire nation of mine. Well,
Thank you for joining us on this special broadcast of the election of 1789. I'm your host, Anchor Jones, and thank you for joining us on Colonial News Network. Let's get this bread.